Okay, so we are all thinking it. I'm not going to pretend that we are not just a little curious, so I'm just going to say it out right now. Where the heck is the Archives update? As you may know, the next major Doors update is going to completely overhaul the room's subfloor, transforming it into something completely new known as the Archives. Now, in case you didn't know, this update was planned to release all the way back in December, at least according to some leaks. But it's been nearly 2 months since then, and we haven't really received any information at all about how progress is going on the update. So, in today's video, I'm going to be discussing what happened to this update, why it could possibly be taking so long, and what could be done about it. We have got a lot to discuss today, including some news about the update as well as the batch system. So, with all of that being said, let's begin. Alright, so like I said, at this point it's been around 2 whole months since the end of December, which is when we kind of expected to see the release of the room's overhaul initially. The update was pushed back for one main reason though, and that was to make way for the new batch system, where we receive more infrequent major updates in favor of monthly mini update releases. Now, besides being one of the major reasons we haven't seen the Archives update yet, so that kind of answers the question of where it went, this caused that, there are some pros and cons to this batches system. More frequent updates means it's a major plus, because we get more content earlier. The thing is though, and I know I'm not the only one who feels this, but the latest batches weren't necessarily new, and I think that's part of the reason why many players are kind of getting slightly impatient waiting for the Archives to release, including myself, at least for a little bit. You see, Doors has released around 4 batches since the delay of the Archives, each of them with varying amounts of public reception. The first was the Christmas event, which I think a lot of people will say is one of Doors' best events. It had only like 40 minutes of actual gameplay, but there was a bunch of hidden secrets for us to discover, so overall I'd say this was a very good update. It also contained solely brand new content, which definitely helped at keeping player retention. In fact, out of all 4 batches we have received so far, this one performed the best out of all of them. The next 3 batches added daily runs, chaos mode, and Twitch drops, as well as battle mode improvements respectively, all of which are decent updates, don't get me wrong. I especially love how battle mode is now actually playable again with other people, but all of these batch updates just rehashed old content, and I think that's largely contributing to why players don't really like the batch system nowadays. The Daily Runs update just made players play the game again with some more entities. It's essentially just like playing with a few modifiers enabled. The Chaos Mode update was somewhat similar, as it was mostly just like playing through the hotel normally, with of course some extra challenges. The game mode itself did receive new content in the form of new events that could occur during rounds, which we haven't seen in the original stream integration modifier, but after completing this entire game mode once and obtaining the badge associated with that, there really isn't any other reason to interact with the game mode at all again. The most recent batch included a whole bunch of new item skins as a part of the Twitch event, as well as the battle mode queue system. Item skins on their own don't really draw on new players, so they were really just a nice quality of life feature. That is pretty cool, I do like the new item skins. The battle mode queue was a very necessary addition though, and I'm super glad it's been added. But battle mode itself didn't actually receive any new content, so this update was mostly just quality of life stuff rather than major gameplay affecting implementations. From what I've seen, a lot of players are growing tired of waiting for the Archives, and some are turning to blaming the batch system because of what is being perceived as lackluster updates instead of the Archives. Now, I don't think the devs should rush out this room's subfloor update, because obviously for this to be a good product, sufficient amounts of time and effort have to be put into it. I also don't think the batch system should be completely voided in favor of the Archives release, as this update release schedule does have a lot of potential. However, I feel some changes should take place to the system in order for it to be better, both in terms of its intended purpose, as well as player reception towards it. Let's start with the first issue, that being the rehashing of old content. Now, like I said, the recent batches were either utilizing already pre-existing features isn't inherently bad, and in some cases it's even necessary, like with the battle mode queue. It's just, after a while it feels stale, so I'd recommend that instead of making consecutive batches all related to old content, every other batch or every 2 batches should focus on reutilizing old stuff, as that way it still gets the attention it deserves whilst not encompassing the entirety of all the Doors updates. Moving on, the next issue I'd like to address is with advertising. In case you didn't know, the bottom line with the batch system is to keep players coming back. Driving up player count is why I proposed the system to the developers in the first place, and it is primarily achieved through advertising the updates. Now, the 2 most successful advertisement methods is the official Doors YouTube account, as well as the events feature on the game's homepage. If you notice, the 2 batches that utilized these advertisement methods got significantly boosted player counts, whereas the ones that didn't barely made a mark on the game's player count, as nobody knew an update even occurred. Even the Daily Runs update, which is widely considered to be rather uneventful and lackluster, had a lot of players joining for it due to the update being advertised well in advance before it's released. I highly recommend the developers advertise all their batches, even the smaller ones, with either YouTube teaser trailers or Roblox events or something, as that is what actually draws players to the game. Tangent aside though, this video is about the archives, and although we answered that it's been delayed because of batches, and we've offered solutions to make that wait more bearable by improving the quality of batches, have we received any news about the archives at all so far? Well, here's the thing. I haven't mentioned this on my channel yet, and that is a rather new leak regarding the upcoming subfloor overhaul. Essentially, it was found in the game files that there exist special paper models titled Scribbles Papers. Scribbles is an upcoming entity that is believed to be new to the archives. I've already made an entire video on them, and although we previously knew next to nothing about them besides that they just exist, apparently these papers have something to do with their design or functionality, or maybe even both. Keep in mind though that this could definitely be a red herring, as the developers do like to put fake leaks in the game files to throw us off. So, to answer the main question of this video, where is the archives? It's going to be coming soon, hopefully. We don't know when, hopefully even next month. But in the scenario where we'll have to wait at least several more batches for it to come out, I think the system should be changed a little bit to improve player retention and response, as well as to boost the player count. After all, what's the point of even making an update if nobody knows it exists and nobody even experiences it? Advertising is a very important part for any game's updates, and I feel Doors hasn't been using that to the fullest extent. Going back to the archives though, we did receive one new piece of information, and that is how the upcoming Scribbles entity is tied to a physical piece of paper model in some way, which is kinda strange, but hey, I don't make the rules. So, with all of that being said, let me know down in the comments what you think of the changes I proposed to the batches system, as well as when you think the update will release. And thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.